lounging, son.
Welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and today I'm going to be going through Locke Key, the Golden Age, but I'm mostly focusing on the Sandman crossover, which was the reason I wanted to talk about this book today. This is collected with other short stories, other single, volumes that had come out. We got the Small World one-shot that was its own hardcover. The Open the Moon story, Face the Music story, and then there was a miniseries, Impale Battalions Go, and then finally we finish off with that Locke and Key, Sandman, Hell and Gone. All those stories are connected because they talk about the Locke family prior to the events of the main Locke and Key series. And I love this letter from Joe Hill. He even talks about having some more stories in him. So I mean, come on, Joe, let's see those. I want to see more Locke and Key. I know I'm not the only one. The show was great. The comics, every time I read them, they're just so addicting to where when you pick up one volume, you got to read everything else. That was very true when I read Volume 1 with Manny a couple weeks back. We read Volume 1 and I ended up reading the rest of the volume the rest of the week. And the other 5 volumes, and then I, obviously jumped straight into this. We got the Small World story. This kind of shows us, the key that unlocks the dollhouse, which I hadn't read until recently, so it was kind of cool to see that, because I saw it I ended up seeing it on the show first before I knew it was an actual key for the books. And we see these are the Lockes that we will be talking about throughout this volume, which is, we got Fiona, John Tyler, Ian, Chamberlain is, the head of the family at this time. And then we get Mary and Jean. We got Harlan right here. So, all the keys are being utilized at all times here, which is very interesting because it's very different than what we see in the main Locke and Key series. Just so out in the open with their use of them. Very cool seeing them, fight this, giant spider who came in. Get the cat just, putting his hand straight through the miniature version of the house. Fun little story. I know I'm kind of flash forwarding a lot, but I love this one too. Open the Moon. We see Ian, he has seizures. So there's something wrong with him. So they figure out a way to kind of let him die in peace almost. And they create a new key. And this key ends up being the key to the moon, which is showing us a peek behind the curtain of life almost. And this is a way of getting into heaven. And I think it's just brilliant. Such a beautiful story. Ian now gets to use the key on the moon and go behind the scenes. And what is he greeted with? He gets to see the rest of the world. Gets to see them watching movies, the Old West. Gets to see every part of the world and just all this adventure for him. Then he gets to meet his grandfather, Clint Locke, because this, like I said, this is heaven. So he gets to meet the past members of the Locke family. And he gets to stay up there. Harlan decides to stay with him and be reunited with his wife. Just such a beautiful story. Again, just very short stories, one-offs that they did. We get this Feel the Music, this quick little 3-page story. Not a music box, but this old record player. And we see how these little people from the orchestra come out and they play the music, and then the cat throws it off, and then they just get dismembered and stuff. Pretty cool little story. The Impale Battalions Go is, we see John. He wants to fight in the war, which is, at this time, this is World War I. He's too young, so he leaves and wants to figure out a way to become older. And he even uses the key, or his dad uses the key to pull him back in. And you can see this guy's reaction is just shocked. He doesn't understand how it happened. And in this, he uses so many different keys to kind of manipulate his mom and uses the music box on her to control her. This is an interesting key too, is the letter box one, right? She can write letters to different people. Lucian, Abel. Where's Abel? In the House of Secrets. Lucian, the senior librarian. So we're seeing the hints of what's to come in the Sandman crossover. And I think that's cool that their mailbox is even, a transporter where you can write people that aren't alive anymore, and stuff like that. So this is a scene I love too, all the different keys. And John uses a drawer, the Anywhere key, to go through a drawer and steal a key. And he now is going to enter the war. He uses the different keys to kind of fight off the opposing forces. Wearing the wings, he's got the shadow crown. So awesome the way he's utilizing it, terrorizing the war, and like uses the fire key, lights the dude's body on fire from inside. It's fucking dope. I won't spoil too much more of that, but things happen and it doesn't go the way he plans, man, and some of the opposing forces come back and they attack his family. And there's a teddy bear key even, where like these teddy bears come to life and they're evil and they attack people. Just such great ways that the keys are being utilized. This pencil going through the dollhouse and stabbing this dude. And because of what John did, there's a death in the family. He doesn't know how to live with himself. And there had been mention of the Titanic here and how man is progressing with technology and stuff. And he just decides to throw himself in the ocean. I love this too. Like the scene of Chamberlain holding his son who's dead, writing a letter. And where is his son? His son is in hell. Which leads us to the Sandman crossover and the key of hell that is created. We get Etrigan, the demon that's in here. Chamberlain's, he's old and he wants to talk to Jack. He's like, why do you keep doing this as he comes out? So he's an echo, but he's burning up. He's in hell and just completely melting away his flesh. And now we get the introduction of like Sandman's helm. So Mary Locke is going over, find a way to connect with this guy that has power, and it ends up being the guy that's holding captive Dream. She's trying to think of any way. Her father had been looking into it on how to commune with him and to save Jack from hell. And as she's taken down the stairs, she's basically bribing him with a key. So she gives him the matchstick key because that's the only way he knows about these keys and how they have power. And so she trades that, and Gabriel Rodriguez just kills it in this panel. I love the way we see Dream just, he's been captured for years and there for years to come. Calling him Lord Shaper, I need your help. Jack, he did things in the war, awful things, but when he came home, their mother died, and so Jack killed himself, and she needs a way to save him, to give her father some sense of closure. And then you just see him holding the sand in his hand and like not saying a word. And what does he do? He takes the sand, smears it across, and shows her the helm, which is going to lead her into how she's going to take care of this. Then she shows the little boy who's sitting here playing with the amulet, playing with the helm, and trades him the Anywhere key so that he can, go to the old Wild West and stuff like that. And then she lays in bed and uses the thing for herself, and she's slowly transported into the realm of dreams. And we see the House of Secrets, where Cain and Abel are digging up the body of who's buried there, Abel, because Cain has killed him again. Just such a brilliant way to connect these two worlds in such a seamless. It wasn't the House of Secrets, it was the House of Mystery, which is where she went, and it makes itself look like whatever she's thinking about. So it looks like Key House, and she sees this giant cannon that looks like a key, and you see all these different keys that are like supposed to be swords, and blasts Abel away again. And it's just crazy, dude. Like I always loved that about Cain and Abel and the Sandman books, about how they're always killing one another. And now she can control the realm of dreams because she does have the helm and the amulet. And since she's a Locke, she has the ability to, she's going to forge keys. So she learns that she needs the help of the librarian, and it's not Lucian. It is none other than the Corinthian. I've always thought his design was super creepy. So she sees, she learns that he, who he really is. I love this too. I'm telling you, the Corinthian is one of the creepiest design characters. Fiddler comes to her defense, blocks the Corinthian from getting her, and then we see that she's gonna use the power of the helm, the sand of the Shaper, and the force of his will. She commands a Corinthian. He disappears. The Fiddler is now lying there dead, or so it seems. She uses the sand to heal him, because what is he but a dream, right? Sees what the key looks like for the key to hell, and is going to use it. She's going to make her own version of the key to to basically depose Lucifer and his ability to rule hell. So she comes back to Lovecraft. We see the hall with all the different keys, the different holes, and the different items that the keys can unlock, right? And she goes and she forges this key to hell with Whispering Iron, calling upon Etrigan, which is just awesome. He's not of a certain level. He's not a rhyming demon yet, so he is not quite as powerful. Always love Etrigan, creation of Jack the King Kirby. So, and again, one of the, the, I guess, B-list, C-list characters that we don't get to see enough. So I love that he's made his entrance in here. And they go to hell. And we see from the last story, the Impale Battalion, where she stabbed this dude with a pencil, and he's now ended up there burning in the fires of hell. We see Lucifer come finally, and she's come to save her brother Jack, and she even says, like, I hold the key to hell. And he's like, oh, that's odd, because I hold the key as well. So we see that they both, they're going to go, they're banter a little bit back and forth, and basically saying, if we can fight our ways out of hell, you'll relinquish all claim to my brother's soul. If we fall to your forces, he remains and I stay with him forever. Finally come upon Jack, and he's been fighting. You see this. Why did you kill me? I loved you even when you knifed me, strangled me, burned me, shot me. He's seeing his mother over and over again because he was basically responsible inadvertently for her death. And he finally sees Mary, and she's, come to save him. How did you get so big? How are you here? Well, it's been 10 years, since he died. And now they're going to fight their ways out of hell. And we see all these different fucking demons in the back. And Etrigan now brings an army with him, because he said, you forgot to bring one thing with you, an army. Oh, well, at least you have me. So he tells her, you forgot to bring an army with you to fight Lucifer, but you have me. And she says, well, I don't need an army, because she's got all her keys. Uses the shadow key, the shadow crown, right? Uses the wings to help the music box. Everything in her arsenal that she's brought to fight off Lucifer. And you can see Lucifer sees that he's losing his grasp. He's losing the power to fight her. And you can see like Etrigan starting to gain the power, he's starting to rhyme. So his power level is going higher. She uses the moon key to escape. I love the transformation of Lucifer right here too. And now that she's gone forward, she's now in heaven, like we saw in the the moon story, and she's reunited with her brother Ian. We see the other Locks that are there. Her mom, right? She brings Jack and leaves him there, and she's now going up through the gates of heaven. But what's interesting now is we're seeing Lucifer before the fall. And what do? They say, we've been waiting for you. And they take the key of hell, loop it around Lucifer's neck, and throw him down into hell. Now it's looped around, and so she created the key to hell. So really, it's all coming full circle, because the key to hell that Lucifer had when she came into hell with that key was in fact the same key. She created it, gave it to heaven, and they were able to give it to him and looped it all around. I mean, and then we see Chamberlain's finally going to go to rest in peace. We see Death. I love seeing her in this like flappers outfit from the 1920s. I think that's awesome. But as she's going away, she's like taking off that costume, getting into the hot air balloon, and going up. And this is the version of Death that we all know and love. And just a fantastic ending. Such a great, some great covers for all of these. Brilliant crossover. Such a seamless one at that. I mean, I absolutely love this. The minute they announced it, I was all over this. I was so on board. Great story. All the other stories that preceded it, fantastic. If you haven't read them, I highly recommend getting this collection. Nice hardcover. You even got the ribbon bookmark. If you're a fan of Sandman, you're a fan of Locke Key, or both, definitely check this out. Make sure you check out the Locke Key episode we did on Volume 1. Got some Sandman episodes on the channel as well. And make sure you like, follow, subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time a new vid drops. And on that note, I'm out.